So back when I was stationed in South Korea, we had to do these base level exercises, and if you guys don't know, at the Kunsan and Osan, and I think at Camp Humphreys, I believe, they all have to do base level exercises, which kind of lasts like a week. I don't know if it lasts 2 weeks, but yeah, typically lasts a week, where you basically do these like I guess it's almost like role play exercises, and this is not like classified stuff. You can literally find this on the internet. Plus, North Korea was probably, and is still to this day, are actively spying on us with satellites, literally monitoring our every move. But we would have to wear these, well, on a traditional exercise, you'd wear chemical gear or whatever, right? Because if North Korea were to attack us, I guess the most effective way would be like sarin, VX gas, all that violent shit, right? So you'd have to like wear chem gear, and you would get, you could get killed, quote unquote, and you would get in trouble. You'd have to go to the area, then you'd have to explain to your commander how you got killed, aka, you probably could get written up, you might get an LOR or whatever, right? But this story's not about that. This is actually very interesting because we were doing like a ground combat training exercise, and this is the story about it. The worst FTX I ever had or whatever. So let's just jump right into it. Basically, I forgot exactly how it happened, but I think it was for the first Monday through Thursday, it was chem gear, and then afterwards we had degraded down. And then on Friday, I remember that was when the commander announced that we were doing like a field training exercise. It was gonna be like 3 days or whatever, right? Friday we go out and we walk through this fuck ass mud, literally just to hear a lecture on how to half load an M2, aka the Browning 50 cal or whatever. Which to most people was a refresher because I'm pretty sure 99% of the airmen there were certified on the M249 or the M250 cal Browning. I'll literally show a photo of it. And hey, guess who was certified on both of those? Well, my 249 expired, but yeah, I was certified on both of those weapons, so kind of just a refresher. It was just a mix of outdoor lectures on Friday. And then I remember there was one point where we got into a line and then we had to do our rifle positioning like while walking so our instructor could see how our body is. And it was funny because me and another guy were DNA, which is do not arm. Basically what that is you're not allowed to handle a weapon because you're either under investigation or you're in trouble, basically the same thing, or you've had like a surgery and you got to take certain medicines to where you can't handle a weapon or whatever legally. So yeah, me and another dude are just DNA, and we're walking and we have our hands out in positioning. We have the rifles there, and it looks so goofy. And I remember I met eyes with the commander. I was in trouble with him at the time, but it just, oh man, it was awkward. But yeah, it was basically just like a big LARP or whatever. We made our way out to the field later, but literally, if you show a video, we were just sitting out on the fucking grass doing nothing while my teammates listened to the radio and the team leaders just waiting for them to call us back. So, Friday just felt like a big waste of time or whatever. Now, second day, it picks up a bit. This is Saturday. It was raining, steadily, which is kind of subtle foreshadowing for the next day. If you guys don't know, Korea, South Korea, North Korea, whatever, it's a big peninsula, which is fucking, the weather is insane. Like, it rains a lot in Korea. I think I read on Google like 60% of all the rain happens in the summer. They call it Jangma, which is their monsoon season. So the peninsula can be fucking brutal with its weather. Now, it was raining this day, but it was like steady and not pouring. And I remember after, a couple hours of wasting time, we actually get into the LMTV to the training site, and it literally looks exactly like it is in Warzone, okay? LMTV, land something terrain vehicle or whatever, right? I had he was actually my friend at the time. His name was Staff Sergeant, I'll call him Staff Sergeant McGregor. And he ran through this fucking big ass puddle during the training exercise. Now, I'm just gonna say, not everyone in the Air Force is very hoorah about it. 99% of people would have just hopped over the mud, especially because it was already fucking raining and you're gonna get even more wet. But Sergeant McGregor didn't even give a fuck. He was one of the coolest sergeants I've ever met. I have way more stories about him. I really want to tell you guys about this guy. He was such a fucking character. I don't know, man. And then these Humvees roll up, so we all get assigned to one. I get assigned to a Humvee with people that I don't even fucking want to be with. It was just a couple randos, a couple NPCs, if you want to call them that or whatever. So I like tactically leave. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go take a piss. I literally go and I sneak into the Humvee with my other friends, and I'm just sitting in the middle. I'm like, oh, what's up, man? He's like, he stuck out of the vehicle, and I was already in trouble with the commander, so I didn't really. I'm like, dude, how much more trouble can I get into? Actually, that's not the way. Looking back, I'll say that, but I was still kind of scared, you know. Whatever. We're doing a lot of sitting around and waiting, and I actually looked back at the video, and dude, I didn't even plan this. I literally said to the other sergeant, I'm like, yo, did you just see how the fucking sergeants hold your floor?
How many times do you think asked where our sergeants are? I've only been a couple times now.
Yeah.
What?
Have you noticed that like sergeant and all them, have they actually been doing anything this whole
No.
exercise?
They've been driving around that little
Yeah,
car.
that little car.
And yeah, that thing you hear about in the military standing around and waiting is so fucking true because Sergeant McGregor was on my right, my other buddy Wong was on my left or whatever. She was cool as fuck too. And then we had our other friend, I'll call him M, was on the right. And we're just sitting there just fucking getting rained on while the instructors are out there riding around in their fucking Polaris. And if you guys don't know, they use this it's like, oh, it's actually called the Polaris MRZR. I'll show you guys. That's literally the military vehicle that they have around, and I knew it because when I was training at Camp Bullis, that's the vehicle that these dudes actually, the instructors rode around during land nav, which that itself is a whole fucking story. I'll tell you guys about that. But in any case, bro, just imagine I'm just sitting there, and then even though we had a cover over the Humvee like gunner's circle, there was just rain just kept dripping down on my fucking legs, and it was like that Chinese water torture shit. It was just awful, dude. And the rain just keeps coming down and down at a steady pace. I'm like, fuck, man, this sucks dick. And it really makes you appreciate a hot shower and dry clothes. Foreshadowing for tomorrow, okay? So we just sit there in the Humvee talking for a bit, and then eventually we get bussed back to the squadron. The rain did start picking up a bit then, but, you know, who the fuck cares, right? You're in the back of an uncovered LMTV. Just giving me a preview for tomorrow or whatever. You can literally see in the video. But yeah, now, the final day of the FTX, which was Sunday, I believe, it was relieving knowing we'd go back to normal operations in a work cycle. But yeah, the day started out like normal, and here was my fatal flaw. I only bought a rain jacket. In fact, I didn't bring much. I only brought a duffel bag of clothes to Korea, and I kind of brought the wrong stuff anyways. But that was a brutal mistake. I should have gotten like ARs, not AR 670-1, AFI, whatever the Air Force approved, the actual massive pants, which is a company that makes military gear, like waterproof. Because, bro, I seen another dude having them. Actually, my last base, I had a dude that had them, and he just looked fucking so comfortable. Because I definitely would have needed that shit, you know? So, fuck it, anyways. I'm literally sitting in the back of this LMTV with no cover whatsoever, right? And I'm with my buddy Q. He was actually he was dating the girl Wong. They were both cops at the time, right? And the rain is just picking up, bro. Like it just like God turned on a switch and it just rained even harder. And I remember specifically sitting there for 2 fucking hours, or it was around that time, and we're just so cold. We're so fucking cold. It's so annoying. I don't want to fucking be there. It's just one of those things where you're like, you miss the clowns, but not the surface. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, I'm basically saying military life, well, you know, the job and the environment sometimes sucks ass, but the people you're around, the bonds you'll meet, it's some of the most amazing, fun people you'll be around. It's just the work, the environment, the weather, it's all working against you. That's what I mean. Now, I don't even remember how hot it was this day, but I remember we were hitting that freaking pose where you put your hands underneath your body armor just to keep yourself warm because it was just fucking coming down. I know I've said that like 7 or 8 times, but seriously, I need to emphasize that shit. And I forget exactly once we got bussed out to the site because the exercise was they were doing like entering and clearing in buildings. Because I'm DNA, I wasn't even allowed to have a weapon. I'm not allowed to be a part of a fire team. I mean, what am I gonna do? Fucking fight Op 4 to death with my paws? And that's what we call the opposing side in the Air Force. They're just airmen that are randomly picked at the training exercise to be the opposing force. If you're in the military, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I get assigned. I don't. This is the part that I kind of don't remember. I get assigned. I think a radio, and then like one of the training sergeants says, "Oh, you're gonna be like a lookout for I don't know someone coming," which kind of feels like they were just sticking me somewhere because I wasn't allowed to have a weapon. So what are you supposed to do when you're technically quote unquote deployed to another country? And you're supposed to have a job title, but you can't handle a weapon because you're either under investigation or whatever. Now, because I'm a radio lookout, I'll show you on the map. I was kind of near like the north part of the base if you're looking at it from the same perspective I am. So I'm just sitting there, and it's peaking in the rain. Like it's horrible, dude. It's pouring. I was out there for almost 3 fucking hours and just checking in periodically on the radio. And when you're just sitting there getting rained on, you're like, fuck, why did I sign up for this shit? And I just don't know, man. I started having to do this thing called tools, which in the Marines and the Army, they probably call it IT or MT, motivational training, inception training. Really, and tools was kind of just like a slang term that our military training instructor made up for in the dorm, but it's basically just making you do physical activity to keep your body core warm. So like sit-ups, push-ups, running. That's literally what I was doing because it was raining so fucking hard on me. I had to keep running up and down this like street. I had this big ass water jug that just kept falling out of my pant pocket. I don't know, man. It sucked dick. Yeah, and then I just started pissing myself because I was already wet, so I'm like I needed to keep myself warm. That's how fucking bad it got. And before you comment down below if you're an Army or Marines, I know you have to deal with this shit like every other month because you guys actually go out to the field, whereas the Air Force, even with one of the not hardest, but like suckiest jobs as security forces, you really don't go out to the field unless you're part of the BDG or B whatever it's called in Georgia. So most of the law enforcement bases don't actually do that. But during this 3 hour period, I kind of like bounced back between just like doing motivate IT or MT, whatever you want to call it, like doing workouts and just running over to the bushes to take a piss because I was just trying to stay warm or whatever. And I couldn't even use my phone because the thing is, if you try to use it in a really bad rainstorm, especially with a cracked screen protector, the water will run in between that and make it think that you're like confuse the phone as if you're touching the phone. So random apps kept opening. I couldn't even fucking use my phone. Even if I was going to be crouched over it, I was scared one of the cadre or sergeants or whatever was going to come over and look at me and I was going to get in even more trouble. And but yeah, I just fucking walked around and tried to get the day over just getting miserably poured on, and I'm just like absolutely fucking soaked, like you just poured water on me. And eventually, oh thank God or whatever, I hear exercise index over the radio. I'm like, thank fucking God, dude. I was so relieved because that's basically them saying the exercise ended. And I see the fire team come out of this house with like a red door, and then Op 4 came out of the training houses or out of the woods or whatever. They all group up, and then we all get back to the squadron. I remember the ride back there. I'm like, fuck, thank God. Because it wasn't even that hot this day. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it was probably only like 68, 67, 65, which for rain, if it's raining on you, it can be pretty fucking bad. Maybe it was a little bit hotter, but still, like, rain just brings down the temperature degrees on your skin by, like, what, 10 degrees or more. It makes everything fucking cold and miserable. And oh my God, the fucking hot shower I took back when I got to my dorm was heaven. I mean, I would have stayed there longer, but I wanted to be dry and chilling in my bed. And I invited Q and Wong back to a local chicken spot right outside of the gate, whichever one, if you've been to Kunsan, you know the exact place I'm talking about. I used to go there all the fucking time. Cause damn, I needed it. But bro, I destroyed 3 beers and a whole chicken meal. Felt even better than a cold shower being just getting fucking drunk after the FTX. It was so worth it, and I strolled my fat drunk ass back to dorm 603. And yeah, that was the story of the worst FTX I ever experienced. Like I said, this is fucking nothing compared to what you do at Fort Campbell when I talked to this dude at Air Assault when I was TDY there. Like, he was like, oh my God, we used to do that shit in the field every other month. I know, in the Army, it's 10 times fucking worse. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this story, leave a like, leave more, or whatever. I have tons of fucking stories in the military I want to tell. Trust me, there will be no shortage of tons of shit. I just have so much of my Snapchat memory saved to where it's like, oh shit, that happened. So yeah, just subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.